Timestamps can be found in the description.
You really had me. I really thought that they fixed it. And wow. This is to be blunt about this one. It's a one step forward, two huge steps back. Let's talk about Halloween Kills today. Now, going into it, I knew that the audience reaction was already mixed, and it's not even better with the next one, unfortunately. The finale of the trilogy with Halloween Ends. But man, to drop the ball on this scale after having such high hopes on the first one, I don't know what they did. I don't know what they were thinking. They went from him seeming human to being like a crazed sushi chef with a knife. Like, the man acts like a ninja running throughout the entirety of the beginning half of the film, killing people with ease, and instead of being this brooding monster that hunts you down and creeps, then he stalks, he kills, he goes back home, and instead it's like, we have a lot to talk about, but it just doesn't hit the same lick as the first one. And that's going to show up in the ratings. Like, I don't think this film's bad, but it's definitely not close to the first one. Anyways, let's jump into the quick plot, and we'll handle it from there. The nightmare isn't over as unstoppable killer Michael Myers escapes from Laurie Strode's trap to continue his ritual bloodbath. Injured and taken to the hospital, Laurie reunites with Tommy Doyle, the boy she was babysitting on the night Michael began his reign of terror. As Laurie continues to fight through the pain, Tommy leads an angry mob of vigilantes to rise up against Myers and destroy the evil once and for all. Now, remember in the first review where I said they made Laurie a badass and it made you respect her evolution as a character? They just threw that away because she has to play injured the entire time, and she's not really allowed to do anything. And once again, as someone who doesn't know the original films, coming into the new trilogy and then being introduced to so many characters that mattered throughout the years, they don't matter to me. But once again, I'm not who this is specifically targeted for, so that completely makes sense. Anyway, there's a ton of characters in this, and they're all just fodder. None of them matter. None of them have long-term weight to what they do. There's just a lot of things wrong with it, and we'll discuss it more in the Wiki Deep Dive, so let's jump into that, shall we? On October 31st, 1978, Deputy Frank Hawkins accidentally shoots his partner dead while trying to save him from Michael Myers. He also prevents Dr. Samuel Loomis from executing Michael. 40 years later, on October 31st, 2018, after being stabbed and left to die by Ranbir Sertain, Hawkins is found by Cameron Elam, who calls an ambulance. Hawkins regrets not allowing Michael's execution and vows to kill him. The beginning of this film starts off with a flashback to, I'm assuming, the original, or one of the originals, with young Will Patton hunting down Michael in his home, or in his family home. As he is strangling another officer, he tries to shoot at Michael and shoots him in the neck. This film flashes back and forth a lot, and the film also jumps to 17 perspectives at once, and it's rough because you're here for the main event, and instead we're getting every side card just to try to keep up with Michael and just to keep the kill count high. And as much as I enjoy a high kill count in a Survive the Night slasher and horror, it's just not how it should be done. Also, the camera jumps to first person a lot, and it's not for this film. Like, I understand in some of the older ones that they would use it to show show the shape staring people down, and that's fine. But I don't need to be in the fire. I don't need to be in the fireman's helmet to see him attack. I don't need to be an inmate roaming through town. It's strange. It's a strange choice, and I really think they dropped the ball with that. Let's jump to the next paragraph. Meanwhile, Tommy Doyle celebrates the 40th anniversary of Michael's imprisonment, along with fellow survivors Marion Chambers, Lindsay Wallace, and Cameron's father, Lonnie Elm. Having each survived an encounter with Michael in 1978, firefighters responding to Laurie Strode's burning house inadvertently release Michael, who slaughters them with their own equipment. Laurie, her daughter Karen, and her granddaughter Allison are taken to Haydenfield. I remembered this time. Are taken to Haydenfield Memorial Hospital, where Laurie undergoes emergency surgery. Michael attacks Laurie's neighbors, first killing the husband and stabbing him to death, and then impaling the wife's throat with a fluorescent light tube. He then starts walking back to Haydenfield. This is where I think the problems begin, because he is suddenly lightning quick. He's attacking them with a crowbar, and they're fighting him like people who never held their own equipment before. He's being like, he's stringing people up with this crowbar axe. He's somebody has like a major power saw used for like vehicle rescues and things along those lines, or cutting large holes in the tops of houses to ventilate the flames. But he moves around like a ninja. Like, he's suddenly insanely fast, and this is where a lot of the camera jumps happen. He kills 12 people, all first responders, in the first like 10 minutes of his appearance on screen. Like, you want the looming threat when Michael is the target, or when Michael is the threat. And instead, it seems like he comes off as somebody totally different. Like, he suddenly has powers, and it's not what you presented with the first film, where you showed him to be just an inmate who's plotting and has that hyper awareness, that observant feat in D&D 5e, and instead now he's suddenly a monk. Like, it's a strange choice. I'll jump to the next kills, which is attacking the neighbors. They're like bit of comic relief as they're like messing around with a drone, and they hear something in the back. The husband goes back to see what it is, finds that Michael's in their bathroom, freaks out, shouts at his wife, and he gets pulled through a wall and bashed against it, as Michael is wont to do. And then Michael takes his time and unscrews a light bulb, breaks it on the table, and just walks up and just slowly stabs this woman in the neck, and then proceeds to stab her husband with every knife in the drawer. It's weird, man. Like, I still think the film's fun. I still think the film's good. It's just not stepping up. Like, it's watching strikes go by, and it's not what I expected. I really expected more from it. We'll jump to the next paragraph. Also, it introduced a lot of people from the older movies. Unfortunately, I wasn't the key demographic. I didn't pop for it, to use wrestling terms. But it becomes a lot of people. Like, besides some of those, it also has a doctor and a nurse. I don't know if they were a part of it. They might have been, but I'm unsure. They're also there as this dude kind of tells like a ghost story, and then like makes it in honor of the survivors. It's strange, but we'll jump to the next paragraph. Tommy, Mary, Lindsay, and Lonnie learn of Michael's killing spree through a wireless emergency alert. Bar patron Vanessa supposedly encounters Michael in her car, but the driver crashes and escapes unnoticed. Tommy forms a mob of vengeful Haydenfield residents to hunt down and kill Michael. Karen is informed that Michael is still alive and withholds that information from Laurie to allow her to recover. Allison reconciles with Cameron, her ex-boyfriend, and she joins Tommy's mob to avenge her own father's death. Laurie and Hawkins both awaken in the same room and reminisce about their former relationship. Oh, that's right. Like, that's pretty much it. That incident they're talking about with the car is introducing one of the other inmates that escaped that night. And the film soon takes a long time following this other escaped convict running through the hospital who's just looking for help. And it's, when we get there, I'll talk about it again, but it's a side story that is so unnecessary. It's just to bring the point forward that we're the monsters now, and Michael's curse has tainted everyone's expectations. I don't get it. Let's jump to the next one. While warding the Haydenville community to stay inside their houses, Marion, Vanessa, and her husband Marcus are killed by Michael. Lindsay escapes and is found alive by Tommy. Lonnie, Allison, and Cameron is found by Tommy, Lonnie, Allison, and Cameron. The group map out Michael's path and his victim's location and deduce that he's heading towards his childhood home. Tommy takes Lindsay to the hospital and reunites with former Haydenfield Sheriff Leigh Brackett, whose daughter Annie was killed in 1978, and informs Laurie about Michael's survival across town. Michael murders the current owners of his house as Laurie prepares to leave the hospital. Let's jump to the 3 kills that it mentions there. It's the nurse, the doctor, and Marion. Oh, and Vanessa. No, wait. Yeah. Marion's the one that's from the older films. Vanessa and her husband drive up to all of them and Lindsay drive up to this park where they see children playing. The children were previously introduced as they were pranking the current owners of the Myers house, and I can't make this name up. Their names are Big John and Little John. They're a gay couple, both named John. I don't know why you would do this. It makes the movie feel like a meme, and it makes it feel like a parody. I don't get it. But maybe it was something from another film and I just completely missed it. And that can definitely be the case. The kids bring up that there's been a man in a white mask trying to play peekaboo with them all night. These kids are like 10 years old, so it's kind of strange that I don't know, maybe they're hyped up on candy. Some of the lines in this were not good at all. Here's some of the dumb kills and some of the dumb lines. Marion's freaking out because suddenly Michael climbs on top of the car to mess with him and try to like get her to waste bullets, which she does. She shoots out all the windows, which allows one of them to escape, but the other two, she tries to say a line like, "This is for my daughter," or someone. "This is for Annie," as she shoots and clicks. I can't think of the name of the actual daughter that she says the line, but she tries to do a cool line. Of course, there's no bullets left in the gun as he stabs her a lot. The husband tries to intervene and is stabbed through the eye. Like, they tried to go really into the gore factor on this one instead of the threat that is Michael Myers, but they really went for it. And then the dumbest kill I've seen in a minute, minus the light tube, because that was kind of stupid in general. The wife gets out with a gun and begins shooting at Michael, and he times her pulling the trigger with the door, kicks the door, she shoots herself in the head. Like, oh my, come on. Eventually Michael makes his way back home, kills Big John and Little John. There's not a lot left to say there. And we'll jump to the last 2 paragraphs. This will be the end of the movie. Lance Tavalli, a fugitive convict from Smith Grove Psychiatric Hospital, and the driver of Vanessa's car, who escaped alongside Michael with their bus crash, arrived and is mistaken for Michael. Tommy's mom pursues him through the hospital before Karen realizes that he is not Michael. Despite her attempts to calm the mob and help Lance, he jumps out the window to his death. Laurie urges Karen to work with Tommy and Brackett to hunt Michael down. Elsewhere, Lonnie enters Michael's former home and is killed. Allison and Cameron rush inside and find his corpse before being attacked by Michael, who murders Cameron. This is the scene I was talking about. It's not just the scene, it's like 15 minutes of the movie of us following this mentally ill patient who's trying to find help at the hospital, and the crowd is chanting "Evil dies tonight" as they try to hunt this man down. And they follow him. It's just a long little set of them hunting this man down, breaking windows and hitting our main cast as they're trying to find this guy, thinking he's Michael. Eventually, he is trapped between two different sets of doors, breaks a window and jumps to his death, where they show everything. Like, they show him that he landed on his back, even though the camera showed it going this way. Like, it's just gore to be gore, and that's not my thing. But it could be your thing, so go nuts. Besides that, there's an excellent reveal here with one of the kills whenever they go into the house to find Cameron's dad. They both have guns going into Michael Myers' home as they're kind of, checking every room to be safe and stuff along those lines. There's the dreaded closet at the very end of the hallway as Cameron's walking forward. He gets a drop, falls from the ceiling as he looks up, and his father has been crushed into like the attic door, and he's barely hanging out of it. He looks like what is it? Evil Dead, I think it is. The little girl that's like peeking out of the bottom, peeking out of the cellar. It looks like her, but like stuck in the ceiling and very much dead as Michael breaks out of the closet to attack Cameron, which he continuously stomps into a messy, crumpled corpse upstairs. Except he's still alive as he walks downstairs to get Allison, who's fallen, because he just like throws her off because now he has super strength. And he walks by Cameron and just kills him. Besides that, all that's right. We'll do the final paragraph. As Michael prepares to kill Allison, Karen appears and stabs him in the back with a pitchfork, steals his mask, and taunts him to follow her. She leads Michael into Tommy's mob, who swarm, attack, and seemingly kill him. When the mob disperses, Michael recovers and massacres the remaining members of the mob, including Tommy and Brackett. Back at Michael's home, Karen goes upstairs to investigate while Allison receives medical attention. Michael appears and stabs Karen to death in Judith Meyer's old bedroom as Laurie stares out of her hospital room, saying, no, that's not actually true. Like, that's not how it ends. How it actually ends, maybe it was only in the extended cut, which is the one I watched because it came in a bundle. Whenever he gets taunted out to everyone and their mother, trying, like, the town itself standing up against Michael, like, he gets a grade A ass whooping, as it's just like a fight pit and everyone's beating him with everything they can find. But the second he gets shot like 8 times in the chest and then stabbed in the neck after being beaten a lot. The second another gun comes out to point it at his head after he's laying down kind of still for a second, he suddenly, lightning fast, brushes the gun away and kills another 15 people. Like, come on. He's a guy. And there's awesome quotes in the film that's saying that Michael's more than just a man. Michael represents pure evil and, like, the curse of this town, so on and so forth. Like, the feeling you have when you hide in the dark is a line that they kind of use, something along those lines. And like, they try to make him explain why he's so powerful, but it's just, they don't show it. Like, it's strange. Like, if he's a guy, let him be a guy. If he's not a guy, don't let him be a guy. It's as simple as I can put it. The film actually ends, because this is technically wrong. Laurie tries to call her daughter, who's just been stabbed, with a really good reveal, like that he kind of does the person in frame, Michael's now here, that sort of style of reveal. They do a great job with that, and it actually got me. It was one of the few actual scares in the movie. But Laurie's trying to call her daughter, who's been stabbed to death, we assume. Michael answers the phone, and all they hear is the breathing, or all Laurie hears is the breathing. And Laurie says, I'm coming for you, Michael. Or I'm going to kill you, Michael. One of the two. And that's how the movie actually ends. I've vented about all the things that I found that was horribly wrong with this film. I still think it's a decent film. I think it's better than a lot of the ones I've watched this month. And I'm hoping that the next one goes right and goes into the correct direction, because this was painful after the first one. Like, it was a big step back. And I think where they went wrong is trying to put it on the same night as the first one. But I could be wrong. Like, let a year go by. Let people hear that everyone's been murdered there. Let Michael have been hiding out in the basement of his home or something like that. But I think that's where they went wrong this time. But you didn't let your main character shine. And that's where I think it fell off. Let's talk about the plot. I don't think the plot's bad. It's the same plot as the first one, except it's just another night, and now we're adding 12 to 15 extra side characters that we don't care about. It's actually probably closer to 8, but I think the plot can have a 6 on this one. I think it definitely dropped. As for scares, there was like 2 or 3 jump scares, but it's mostly just gore. Like, scares can have a 4. Like, I don't know. The looming threat that is Michael is good, but I don't know what you were trying to bring as Michael this time, because he's not the walk you down. He's the now I climb on top of cars and have the knife skills of a ninja, of a samurai. Like, it's I don't know. I don't get it. I think he can have a 5 as well. Like, Michael Myers is bringing his own name to this, which is fine. Is this for newbies? No. Do I recommend this? I'll have to see how the third one goes. But right now, I feel like I can't recommend this on its own. Yeah, worst case, just ask somebody what happens in the second one, and hopefully the next one's better. But I'm nervous now. Final score for this one. Let me get my handy dandy notebook out. I gave Halloween a 7.5. I still enjoyed this one a lot. I think I can only give it a 6 on this one. Like, it was a pretty harsh drop for quality and for what the person's supposed to be. But once again, this is my first real experience involving Michael. So maybe I'm just misunderstanding it. But that is what I give Halloween Kills. I'll have Halloween Ends tomorrow for you. Hope you all have a great day. Take care. Stay scared. See you tomorrow.